to help reduce risks and addresses the unique characteristics of Islamic banking transactions. Malaysia applies the risk-based supervisory framework while Bahrain utilize a different set of dedicated on-site supervision and off-site surveillance guidelines designed specifically for Islamic banks. In both jurisdictions, the regulatory capital adequacy requirements contain prescriptions that are often based on IFSB prudential standards and guiding principles on needed adjustments to the BCBS, Basel Committee on Banking Supervision, capital framework to cater for certain Islamic banking features. Moving on to accounting standards, Bahrain is the only country who has completely adopted AIFI standards while Malaysia implement different accounting standards under International Financial Reporting Standards, IFRS. As for corporate governance frameworks, both countries have tailored structures that specifically address the issues in Islamic banks. The Sharia Governance Framework policy document issued by BNM in 2019 for Islamic financial institutions, IFIs, in Malaysia plays a critical in the institutionalization of governance structures, policies, and processes to promote end-to-end Sharia compliance in Islamic finance operations. The framework outlines the key responsibilities of the board and its interaction with Sharia Committee, composition of the Sharia Committee together with guidelines on their appointment and disqualification, senior management roles and control functions under Sharia governance comprising of Sharia review, Sharia audit, and Sharia risk management. Bahrain follows the AIFI governance standards where it requires all IFIs to establish Sharia Supervisory Board. Section January 3, 16 of the CBB Rule Book requires IFIs to adopt the standards as well as having a separate function of Sharia review for a purpose of ensuring Sharia compliance as stipulated in the Standards No. 3. To address this issue, the practice of the IFIs shows that the Sharia review or audit is carried out by the existing internal audit personnel. This legal requirement for the adoption of the standards reflects the role of Bahrain as the host of the AIFI since its establishment in 2001. Regulation and guidelines exists for information disclosure in both jurisdictions, but effectiveness differs. Islamic banks in Malaysia are not permitted to publish its financial statements until and unless the Sharia board has signed off on the Sharia compliance of the financial statements. The regulatory frameworks for capital requirement, corporate governance, risk management, and financial reporting that exist considerably comply with international standards. A significant development in regulation of Islamic banks is, however, in its tendency towards principle-based guidelines that empower greater responsibilities at the operational level, which is what Islamic banks need.